Today, we're going to break down one of the most powerful mental models on the entire planet. Seriously. It's a way of thinking that the world's greatest minds use to see things, well, differently. We're talking about first principles.
Have you ever wondered about that? You know, how some people, the scientists, the philosophers, the innovators, how do they consistently see around corners and just get things that the rest of us miss? It feels like some kind of superpower, but here's the thing, it's not. It's a skill you can learn.
And that's it. That's the secret sauce. This isn't just some little technique, it's a complete shift in how you approach knowledge itself. It is the single most consistent thing that connects great thinkers. So, what does it actually mean?
All right, let's build our own foundation here. We're going to unpack what first principles really are, where this whole idea even comes from, and most importantly, how it actually works.
Okay, so this is the crucial point. First principles are the absolute basics. Think of them like the Lego bricks of an idea, the core truths that you just can't break down any further. Every complex idea you've ever had, it's built from these simple, true little pieces. And get this is not some new age productivity hack. We are talking about ancient wisdom. Over 2,000 years ago, Aristotle was basically saying you don't truly know something until you've stripped it all the way down to its most basic parts. And of course, he had a method for it. It was this simple two-step cycle. First, you gain experience. Aristotle was an early biologist, so he would literally dissect animals to see how they worked. That's real-world, hands-on knowledge. Then you use your reason to organize all that information, to find the underlying structure. It's this constant loop between seeing and thinking that reveals the first principles.
Now, to make this concept really click, we're going to use an analogy. It's a brilliant way to see the difference between just knowing stuff on the surface and having a deep, real understanding. Let's talk about the tree of knowledge.
So let's compare two ways of thinking. On one side, you have the conventional thinker. This is someone who knows a lot of facts, right? They can recite information. But on the other side, you have the first principles thinker. They don't just know the facts. They get the deep structure that connects them all. One has information, the other has true understanding. A conventional thinker, they see the fruit on the tree. And the fruit is all the obvious surface-level information. It's that interesting fact you hear and then repeat at a party. You can see it, you can taste it, but you have no idea how it got there. But a deeper thinker starts to see the structure, the branches holding up all that fruit and the trunk supporting the branches. They start to realize that facts aren't just floating around randomly. They're part of a bigger, organized system. But the first principles thinker, they go all the way down to the roots. The roots are the most fundamental part of the tree. They are the source from which everything else grows. The roots are the first principles. This is where real understanding is born. And here's the whole point. You can't just stick apple seeds in any old dirt and expect a great apple. You need good soil and you need strong roots. And in the exact same way, a truly powerful idea can only grow from a solid foundation of first principles. Okay, that analogy is great, but let's make this more concrete. How do you actually apply this stuff? Let's deconstruct a really common idea just to see these principles in action. Okay, think of a well-written essay. That's our fruit. Now, we can break it down, right? An essay is really just a collection of paragraphs. And a paragraph is just a collection of sentences. A sentence, just a collection of words. And words are collections of letters. The letters, those are the first principles of the essay. They're the indivisible building blocks. So why on earth would you go through all this trouble of deconstruction? Because once you understand the fundamentals, you unlock some incredible advantages. Let's just quickly fly through the 4 core benefits of thinking this way. And there are 4 of them. And these aren't just small things. They are absolute game changers for how you create, learn, and solve problems. First, you can innovate. Once you have the building blocks, the letters, you can rearrange them into something brand new, like taking those essay parts and making a book. Second, you can optimize. You can look at every single component, each letter, word, and sentence, to make the whole thing truly remarkable. Third, you learn way faster. New information isn't confusing. It has a place to go because you have this solid structure to build on. And finally, you can teach better because you can pinpoint exactly which building block a student is missing. All right, so you see the power, but how do you actually start doing this? It's simple, but I'm going to warn you, it's not always easy. So here's one actionable thing you can do to get started. Inspired by Aristotle himself, your one big action is this: start creating hierarchies. Just map things out. You'll find that most ideas are nested inside of other ideas, and your job is to draw the lines that connect them. And here's a simple process for you. Start with experience. Just look at the fruit all around you, the complex stuff you find interesting. Then start digging. Ask why and how over and over again to get down to the roots. And finally, you have to actually write it down. Create a mind map, a little chart, a hierarchy, just like we did with the essay, to organize all the pieces you find. So thinking from first principles is clearly a powerful tool, right? It helps you build a real, true understanding of the world. But you know what they say? With great power comes great responsibility. And maybe, just maybe, a hidden danger. What could possibly be the downside of seeking the truth so relentlessly? Now that's a question worth thinking about.